In Genesis chapter 36, it feels like it's just going to be another genealogy. You know, those parts of the Bible that seem pretty boring when it's like this guy had this many sons and this son lived this long. And it's just like a lot of information. There's no story. It feels like there's not really any theological value there. And so when I read Genesis chapter 36, I thought, I hate feeling like that about the Bible. But there are just some parts of the Bible where it's a lot of work just to get through it. And then I thought there's got to be something here, and so I started digging into some of these commentaries that I have, trying to glean from minds that have studied the Bible much longer than I have, and I realized something. Genesis chapter 36 only makes sense if you read Genesis chapter 37, verse 1. In Genesis chapter 36, Esau is very successful. He has all these chiefs come from him. He has all this land and this livestock. He is very successful. And then in verse 1 of chapter 37, it says, "But Jacob stayed where his father had stayed, in the land where his father had stayed." You know, Esau had land. He had a place where he belonged, but Jacob had to wander. That was not his land. I mean, he did own some of it, but that was not the land God had promised. You know, putting all that together, as people, we have trouble sometimes with comparing ourselves to other people. Why did God let this person do this before I did? I know I've worked harder than him. Why is he being promoted? I mean, we're constantly, especially with social media, you get on there and you see all the highlights of people's lives, and you don't see the lowlights. And you think, God, why are you letting these people do this and not me? Waiting on God isn't fun, but it's always worth it. I think about everything that I've ever had to wait on God for, and it's been well worth it. God always has the best plan, and God is always worth waiting on. Yeah, Esau had worldly possessions and worldly success, but he didn't have the spiritual success that Jacob did. Jacob had to wait on God, and God taught him in his time of learning. And Jacob learned how to trust God in this time. You know, Jacob needed extra time to learn to trust God because he did so much out of fear. Waiting on God is worth it every single time. So I want to encourage you. If you're waiting on God right now, keep waiting. Stay strong. Keep trusting God. God will not let you down. God will come through. That's what stands out to me when I read Genesis chapter 36. Come back tomorrow and we'll talk about Genesis chapter 37.